I drove all the way to New Jersey to go explore the actual Watcher house. It's right here behind me. We're going to check it out. Here we go. Just kidding. That's not the house, and I didn't go there, but I'm going to tell you the true story about it.
Two, one, go!
Everybody's talking about the new show on Netflix, The Watcher. 657 Boulevard in Westfield, New Jersey. But did you guys know that this is actually based on a true story? Maria and Derek Brodus moved into this house and started receiving letters. Let's talk about this true story and what all went down, the fact and the fiction. Now, the Netflix show is far different from the true story. The show is very theatrical, and a lot of things that happened did not actually happen in real life. First off, the Broduses never actually moved into this house in real life. In 2014, they bought it, they started doing renovations, and then they got the first letter, which was extremely threatening and pretty scary. The owners before them did receive a letter, but it wasn't threatening at all whatsoever, and that's why they never told the Broduses about this Watcher. Now, in the show, there is this teacher that assigns his students to write letters to houses that they love in the community. This is true. A teacher actually wrote to a house that he fell in love with in the community, and he actually became friends with the people who owned the house. He wasn't threatening whatsoever. In the show, they talk to previous owners of the house, and one of the guys says how there was a cult that was actually residing in the house and would do horrible things. The truth behind this is, there was never a cult in this house. There was no one doing anything crazy inside of this place before the Broduses moved in. Now, this is where the story in real life gets creepy to me. In the show, there's a brother and sister who are their neighbors who always seem to be snooping around and getting into their business. In real life, it was actually a 90-year-old woman, and she had some of her kids living with her who were in their 60s. And I guess one of the kids had schizophrenia and was always actually snooping around in real life, and this could definitely possibly be the family that was sending the letters in real life. Now, this is the most scary part in the show, talking about John Graft, and in real life his name was John List. The thing is, he actually never lived in this house, but what he did is a true story. I will not go into detail, but this was a real man named John List, and he actually did some extremely crazy, horrible things. In the show, they speak of this preservation society, and in all actuality, in real life, there wasn't really a society. It was more a group of people who would vote on things amongst the town. And actually, in real life, 100 people attended this meeting. The Broduses wanted to demolish the house and turn it into two lots, and the people of the town would not allow them to do that, and that raises some red flags, in my opinion. Now, this part also raises a red flag in real life. In the show, there's this local kid who kind of wants to help this family and set up security cameras. Actually, it wasn't a kid in real life. It was a neighbor who actually did security, and he actually did set up cameras. And in the show, they claim that this kid's Xbox or PlayStation handle is called the Watcher. And in real life, this guy who set up the cameras had his handle as the Watcher. This is creepy in my opinion. They tried to bring him to court and he didn't show up twice and they just dropped everything. Could this have been the person who was watching them this whole time? He did have the name The Watcher on his Xbox or PlayStation handle. In the show, they did find secret tunnels, and this was not true in real life. Although New Jersey and New York do have a lot of houses that have secret tunnels, this was not the case in the actual story of the Broduses and the Watcher. Now, after this show, the neighbors of this house and the people of the town are getting really upset because so many people are flocking to explore this house. And if I was closer, I definitely would go check it out, take some pictures. Now, this leads to the question, who is actually writing these letters to the Brodus family? In the TV show, you don't really get an actual answer of who the suspect was. And in real life, to this day, it is still not solved, but there are a few ideas out there. I think it could have been the security guy or the neighbors who were kind of creepy. But number one suspect are one of the neighbors. So, yeah, that's an easy suspect to think of. Second is a competitor of someone who wanted the house before the Broduses actually bought it. Maybe someone who couldn't afford it, maybe someone who could afford it, but the Broadduses got to it first. Who knows? The third, I don't know how true this could be a grudge. Someone had a grudge against the family and just didn't want them there. And then fourth, it could have been the Broadduses themselves. In the show, it kind of shows that they can't really afford the house, but the husband kind of wants to be greedy. And in real life, maybe this wife or the husband wanted the house, and then they found out that they didn't like it or they couldn't afford it, so they kind of just tried to scare one another away. No one really knows. The story is still unsolved, but it definitely is a good show. Definitely check it out. I think it's still number 1 or 2 on Netflix. Tell me what you guys think. Who did this to them? Who did it? Thank you guys so much for watching another episode of Get Real Vlogs. Thank you guys once again for 6,000 subscribers. Let's keep it going. Peace out, guys.